Today's episode of the Read Pile is brought to you by Audible.com. Get a free audiobook download and a 30-day free trial at www.audibletrial.com/nerdupmedia. Over 150,000 titles to choose from for your iPhone, Android, Kindle, or MP3 player.
I'm Elle, and I want to wish you a belated happy birthday!
Yeah, well that's awfully nice.
You're old.
And I am the old man, Rick Sussman, now 1 year older, and you are watching The Read Pile.
It's the week of April 29th, and here's some comic book news you can use.
Not so much comic book news. This is actually an opportunity, as most of our news segments are, for the Angry Nerd Girl to get her Angry Nerd Girl on. When last we taped, Friday has since come and gone, because we normally tape our show on Wednesday, Thursday.
Is that the order, I guess?
Normally, yes.
Oh, okay.
On Friday of last week, we saw the debut of the new look for Suicide Squad featuring the Joker with Jared Leto. My thoughts on this have been well documented, but if the Angry Nerd Girl could spend maybe a moment or two, because we do have another little bit of news in the same regard. So, your thoughts on Jared Leto's Joker?
It sucks! It's true. It really does. I'm so disappointed.
Okay, wait.
Okay.
The objective.
Here's the thing.
There's got to be something you like
I was already disappointed in just the choice of who was going to be the Joker, but I knew something was going to go wrong.
Jared Leto's a good actor. He's won an Oscar.
So what?
Yeah.
There were a lot of other people.
Did you think Heath Ledger was going to make a good Joker?
I wasn't against him at the time. Now, speaking of, how can you follow up from a guy like Heath Ledger and then come up with this kind of shit? It is bad. It is bad.
I don't think it's that bad. I think the tattoos are bad.
Ridiculous.
The tattoos are really bad.
Have you seen the memes that are going around? My favorite one is the Home Alone thing where he's like, ah! And then...
Wait, let me ask you an honest
question. And he looks like Morg from the Freak Show.
He does look like Morg. But let me ask you an honest question. Honest question.
Yes.
If the tattoos weren't there, would you be that upset?
Probably not.
Now,
I think I would be more forgiving. It's not what everybody would assume would be what we would
call the Joker.
Yeah, because a lot of people are used to the scarring, and they're gonna think of the Heath Ledger version.
Yeah, they couldn't touch the Heath Ledger version.
So they went a different direction. I understand that because you can't
go back to that.
You can't. So that's cool. I can understand if you're going a certain way, but this is over the top, ridiculous. Come on. It's like they're not even trying. And plus, I'm so sick and tired. It's like the only thing they had going for this show, or this movie, I'm calling it movie shows. Apparently I'm old. And
we're going to the shows.
These are my shows.
My stories.
So, anyway, I feel like they're concentrating too much on this, which is what makes me even more angry. Because we're like, hey, this isn't the Joker movie.
Evidently it is. It is not quite the Suicide Squad.
And I'm starting to wonder, like, is it going to be there for, 5 minutes? Or is it going to be, half the...
It's supposed to be a cameo. It's supposed to be a cameo.
I'm really... whatever.
Let me ask you a second question, a follow-up.
Okay.
Imagine if all the tattoos were there, but damaged was taken away from his forehead.
I'm still pissed off.
Are you less pissed off?
No.
Oh, really?
It's just
so the damage...
The tattoos in general, because of what they are, they're ridiculous. It's...
He likes to laugh.
Right. I mean, it's one thing maybe he has tattoos somewhere or whatever, but the choices for what they did, it's...
The Cheshire Cat smile on his arm, the fact that it says Cheshire on the side of him, the smile. Alright, we can go on. We need to mention one other bit of news just reported today.
Ooh.
So the Hollywood Reporter, I believe it's the Hollywood Reporter, I should have double checked this, but It's reported on Newsarama, Bleeding Cool. Everybody's reporting it. Here's the short of the long of it. Paraphrasing. The folks over at Warner Brothers are not wholly certain on how to handle their DC properties and their movies, and people in the industry are coming up to them and basically going, hey, so these are terrible ideas, stop doing them. That's the report. That's the whole report. That's basically it. They're saying, Warner Brothers is saying they believe in what they're doing and that it's going to be fine, and everyone is saying, why didn't you just follow Marvel? They gave you, the pie. Just eat the pie Marvel made. We're gonna go see Avengers 2 tomorrow. We were lucky enough to get early screening passes. Are you
I
worried?
already know I'm gonna love it.
Are you even worried at all?
No, I know it's gonna be a good time. I know that I am not fully aware of the backstories of a lot of these characters.
Do you
And
even
yes,
care?
I saw the previous movies, but I know it's gonna be great.
You know it's gonna be
I'm
great
not a Marvel girl.
But as soon as you see that Marvel thing starting to flicker, Daredevil, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
I fell in love with Daredevil on Netflix. And I have hated that character ever since Ben Affleck.
All right.
I can't even say his name
Enough. We're not getting into Ben Affleck. That is the
that whole freaking crew, man.
All right. I'm stopping this. We have devastating news to report in the comic book review section. It's time to review some comics.
Time for comic book reviews. First up, The Twilight Zone. It says issue 4. Not really issue 4, it's little stories. First 2 were one story, second 2, another story. So this is the second part of a second story. I love these little books, and I'm just repeating myself. I love them because there's these little stories, and they wrap up really quick, and they're entertaining. They're not overly dramatic. There's not really a huge plot twist or anything to it. It's like watching an episode of The Twilight Zone. It really is, and I like it. It's good. It's good, and I don't want to stop reading it because I'm not disappointed ever. Because you're not expecting anything overwhelming, but you're fine with the end. It's alright. It's alright. It is what it is, and I don't know. I can't not put it down. I want to read it. I want to know what happens. It's so short. Why not? And what happens in the conclusion for this particular story, pretty much, if you remember, on the last issue, basically these people were dropped into this somewhat housing type building, but with no roof. And it seemed like they were being taken care of by something, someone, or others. They didn't know what was going on, but they were being provided food that didn't really look like the, regular old food. It was like these weird things that they ate. And this one guy did not want to play the game. He's like, no, I don't think so. Whatever. So we're finally figuring out what's going on, who, and I will say they are, not completely, but it was enough to say, interesting. And I like that. Moving on. Okay, this one. Outcast. Every issue. Okay, we're on issue 8 now, and I think overall I hate this series. I absolutely hate it, but I can't stop reading it because always, I get all the way through it. I'm like, okay, whatever, next page, okay, next page, okay, next page. I'm totally gonna I'm done with this. And then you get to the end, and you say, you know what? One more issue. I'm gonna read the next issue because now I gotta know. And I know it's gonna be the same thing next time. I know it, but I think I just like torturing myself. But we are learning a little bit more and more. Kyle is still kind of an annoying character, and you just want him to suck it up and be like, just get to it, do what you're supposed to be doing, and Then you got the priest that he doesn't know what he's doing, but he swears he does, and then you find out he really doesn't, because there's much more going on. And you're starting to realize that this sickness or whatever it is that's going on is affecting way more people than we realize. And they're just at the tip of the iceberg. I don't even think they know what is going on right now. And so now I gotta know. So we'll see. Alright, now on to some depressing things. Issue 14, Alex and Ada. I'm not going to say much because this was absolutely devastating. I fought. I seriously had a battle in my head. I wanted this to be my pick of the week, but other things happened somewhere else in my little read pile world, and it just didn't quite, you go through these check-off lists of, okay, this, and it was such a small, little, tiny piece of the pie, and it just didn't quite make it. But this was, if I could have a tie, I would just go for a tie. What happens in this issue almost made me cry, and I was flipping out, and it is absolutely unfair, and Jonathan, you are a terrible human being, and I don't know why you would do these things.
Friend of the show, Jonathan Luna.
I'm just gonna, I don't know,
willing to promote us when others didn't, Jonathan Luna.
Oh my gosh, I love you for writing such a great story and making me so attached to these characters, and to the point where just things that happen in the story kind of really just affect the way I feel so much, and it's just, it's overwhelming. And if you have not been reading, it's impossible to just jump on board. You can't just jump on. You got to go back. You got to start at the beginning, and they're easy read because you just get sucked into the story. You're not going to put it down. And we're only on issue 14. You catch up quick. You want to know this story. You want to know what's going on. And oh my god, it was punch in the gut. Thank you. So, okay, I'm going to move on because I could just keep going on and on because I know I can't say much because I don't want to ruin anything for anybody. And let's go on to another gut wrencher. My pick of the week, a nice duh moment here. Issue 40. Oh, Batman. Another one. And I'm not going to say all the details, but I will tell you this part of Joker and Batman just beating the crap out of each other is just pages of insanity. And it's so brutal just what happens, but to see two worlds coming in together to fight against Joker was pretty amazing. We already saw that starting to happen in the last issue. That's not really a spoiler. So, you get to see that in the beginning of this book, and you see that happen, and we've seen that in other stories. This isn't the first time, so it was just wonderful to see that. But the outcome to this issue just blows your mind. And you guess what? I'm not going to believe in it. Because I don't want to. And if you have read this, I would love somebody to explain the last page to me, because I'll admit I have no freaking clue. And I'm completely lost. And if somebody can just enlighten me on what that means, I would love it. So, I don't know. Scott, you wanna, personal message? We don't have to ruin anything on the internet. Maybe just, explain it. I know there's probably something there. Maybe it's nothing grand, but I would love to know. In the meantime, I'm gonna go cry in the corner. I am just emotionally drained, and we're gonna see what Rick has to say.
Well, those were emotional. let's go to my read pile, which is substantial. And a couple of these guys are not going to have icons, but you know what? I've been over them. Let's start first with the good times. The Munchkin! This is issue 4, and if you follow us on Twitter, and most of you do, you would have saw that I got into a very funny, pun-laden conversation with Mr. Jim Zub, who wrote the backup story for this issue. There was a great proliferation of puns and a lot of alliteration using the word P, or the letter P. And Jim kind of wrote the majority of my read pile this week, so we're going to see his name a lot, and he did very well. But we're going to move on now to our next book, because I have lots to say about other things. Conan and Red Sonja, number 4. This is The Age of Death. This wraps up the crossover of Conan and Red Sonja, written by wonderful friend of the show, Miss Gail Simone, who we love and adore, and Jim Zub. If I'm honest, the 4th issue was a little quick. It wrapped everything up. It had a good ending. If anything, we do appreciate terminal stories here on the read pile. We like knowing that a book has a beginning, middle, and an ending. And this certainly was that. This was 4 issues, and it was very, very good. I'm only saddened because it was only 4 issues. I was so enjoying this team up. As I mentioned in the very first issue, it was like watching, Jean Grey and Superman get on the same squad, or take any major female hero, any major male hero, and put them on the same team and watch them wreck shop. It was so much fun, and you could feel the interplay between the 2 characters. It was touching. It was just fantastic. I am sad to see it go, but I understand 4-issue minis are a thing. Let's move on. They are not like us. They're not like us. Number 5. I love this book. I love it, I love it, I love it, I love it, I love it. I love its awkward style in that the front cover is the first part of every issue. I love the fact that it is a real-world take on superheroes. Superheroes in very big quotes, because these people are not heroes, they are villains. But they're not even villains. They are humans. They are humans with extra gifts that allow them to do crazy things and get away with it. And you know what? I love it. I like reading it, I enjoy it, and I want more of it, and I'm very happy with it. You should read this book because it is so reality-based. If you had superpowers, I've said this before, I guarantee you at one point or another, you would use them to your advantage. You know what? In just about every movie or every comic you've ever read, at one point or another, somebody uses their powers and abilities not for the benefit of all mankind, but to simply benefit themselves. And what this book is saying is, why wouldn't you? And it's a great question that I don't think has ever really been asked before in such a grand scale. If you could read somebody's mind, why wouldn't you win every poker game you were in? If you could punch through a wall, why wouldn't you get into MMA and just beat everybody because you can break their jaws? Why wouldn't you? And that's what They're Not Like Us does. And that's why you should be reading it. Now, we get to the super fun books. Oh, so much fun. Oh. Rumble! Rumble, Rumble, Rumble! Oh my god, I love Rumble! So many good books on my read pile this week. It was hard to pick a pick of the week, but you'll see when we get there. Rumble continues to be the story of a would-be Mo Sizlak and his buddy, who is, for all intents and purposes, Teddy from Bob's Burgers. It's like John, and I'm going to mispronounce his last name, but that's so fine. John Arcudi, he took all of these, almost archetypal loser characters and said, hey, you guys, you all get to be in a superhero story now with this scarecrow who's actually an ancient warrior from another time. And he's got this amazing sword, and he just wants to get his body back, and there's wizards, and there's demons. Do you like good books? Then you should read Rumble. It is a lot of fun, and it moves very quickly. And I'm starting to wonder if the name Rumble doesn't mean like a brawl, but like something bubbling just under the surface. Now we get to a book that was very nearly my pick of the week, except for something insane happened this week. We're going to talk about Wayward number 7. Jim Zub, you would have been my pick of the week this week, save for one other book that debuted as well. I love Wayward. I am late to the game when it comes to anime and manga. I just started getting into it, mostly because Netflix has a plethora of it, and because my local comic shop has started carrying manga now. And I'm reading Attack on Titan, and I'm reading Death Note, and I'm reading The Alchemist, Full Metal Alchemist. And you know what? Wayward has little hints and little bits of all of those books, and they're all there just for the taking. I love the characters. I love that they're all kids in Japan, and that, of course, it's Japan. And it's just like watching an anime, or it's just like reading a manga, except I don't have to read it backwards. It's Americanized. It's American-made. I don't even know if Jim's American now that I think about it. It's English-made manga. It's Western manga. There we go. And I adore it. However, it is not my pick of the week this week. Spin up the graphic. There it is. Going a little bit off script here. My pick of the week, because I can't deny it, it was just too damn good, is Batman number 40. I know what you're saying. A little bit of a cop-out. We already have Batman number 40 reviewed. I don't think you can review this book enough. There's a scene, spoiler, Batman and Joker, as Elle said, have just beaten the hell out of each other. Joker is trying to sort of scramble away, like he knows he needs to get somewhere. And Batman wraps his arm around his neck and drags him in close, because Batman is dying, or he feels like he's dying. And he basically whispers into Joker's ear something along the lines of, "Hey, buddy, don't leave me here because I'm dying." And he's doing it in such a way where you just know that Batman knows something, that he is aware of the situation, because he's Batman, of course he is. But he wants the Joker to feel that dread. He wants the Joker to know what it's like, to know that he knows that he knew that Joker was lying the entire time. And he waited and waited and waited until he had the very last moment to play that whole card and to put it down on the table and drop the mic and every other cliche you can imagine and just whisper gently into the Joker's ear the way the Joker always wanted to hear it. And he wanted it to be so perfect and so intimate, and it's perfect. I've already seen reviews of this book that are calling it an 8 out of 10 or a 7 out of 10 or a 4 out of 5. Baloney. This is a 10 out of 10, and it bears everyone standing up and taking note. This is how you end a story. This is how you end an arc. I do happen to know, because I have friends, that the story will continue. Divergence debuts on Saturday. That's Free Comic Book Day. And you get a hint. Well, you don't get a hint. You get to find out who the new Batman, quote unquote, is. You guys are going to be really impressed. It's amazing. But that is my pick of the week. Thank you, Scott Snyder and Greg. You guys, I hope you make 100 of these comics. They're just so good. For you, our loyal followers of The Read Pile, we have an awesome offer from Audible.com. Audible is offering a free audiobook download with a free 30-day trial to give you the opportunity to check out their awesome service. You can download some really great books like The Hobbit, the unabridged version from Tolkien. You can download Divergent, Lean In, lots of great stuff to check out. To download your free audiobook today, go to audibletrial.com/nerdupmedia. Again, that's audibletrial.com/nerdupmedia for your free audiobook.
That's this week for The Read Pile. Rick, who are we thanking?
We would like to thank, and this is going to be a little self-serving, I realize, but we would like to thank everybody who is going to work ridiculously hard this coming Saturday, May 2nd, for Free Comic Book Day. No matter where you're watching this episode of The Read Pile, you are near a comic book store somewhere, I guarantee it. And they're going to have Free Comic Book Day, and it's going to be a frickin' madhouse. It's going to be an absolute zoo, and it's going to be one of the coolest experiences you've ever gone to. You might be somebody who's never gone to a convention. This is like going to a con in one day. We went to Free Comic Book Day last year at our local shop. There's photos of it. We took a lot of photos. We got photos with local artists, with local creators, with the Mandalorian mercs, with like a gaggle of different female superheroes that you took photos with. Mm-hmm. Cosplayers, I should say. it's an event, and the guys behind the counter, the guys and girls behind the counters, they are going to make that day even more special for you, I guarantee it. So, we thank them. And like I said, for those of you in the know, wink wink, perhaps a little self-serving, but it still rings true. Also, just on a side note, I'd like to thank all of the creators and artists out there, like Gail and Scott and Terry Dodson and Meredith Finch and everyone who we've ever reviewed who has spent the last week on Twitter saying pretty much what I'm saying. Those are the people that we adore, and they're telling you to go to Free Comic Book Day. So we hope you enjoy your Free Comic Book Day. And let us know about it. Tweet at us, @TheReadPile. You ready to go?
Yep.
Let's go.
Hey, Rick.
Huh?
We gotta do the show.
Nah, just let me stay here with my friend for a little longer.